Hey guys, it's Jade. So, if you hear like noise and stuff in the background, because my window's open, it's kind of warm in here, but I have like zero circulation in my room, so there you go. But yeah, so I wanted to come on here because I just wanted to talk about, just being a older K-pop fan, and my 10-year anniversary is coming up next year. But it got me thinking about like just me being a fan for almost 10 years and the stuff that I've experienced over these 10 years. And it was this one tweet. It was like, got my tablet. It's like the K-pop songs turning 10 years old in 2021. So it's Infinite's Be Mine, U-Kiss's Neverland, FX Hot Summer, Beast Fiction, 2 PM Hands Up, Tiara Roly Poly, Hyuna Bubble Pop, 21 I'm the Best, Super Junior Mr. Simple, Kara Step, and Girls' Generation's The Boys. Now these are all iconic songs if you are a second gen fan. So for people that are new or unfamiliar with my history of K-pop, I told this story many times, but if you're not trying to go all the way back, it's fine because there's a lot of videos on my channel. So let me just kind of explain my history with K-pop. So I discovered K-pop 2012. So next year will be 10 years I've been into K-pop. I discovered K-pop ultimately through One Direction. And you're like, huh? So pretty much at the time I was heavy on Tumblr, and I was really starting to get into One Direction. This is when they were starting to blow up over here in America. So yeah, they started blowing up here in America, and so I would just constantly be on Tumblr on the One Direction tag on Tumblr. And I remember running to a video, it was like teens react to One Direction. I'm like, what the fuck is that? So I watched it, I'm like, oh, that's a cool video. I've never seen like, so that's like technically my first reaction video I've ever seen. I've never seen reaction videos before that. I was like, what the fuck is this? So after that, I went through the channel, and which was the Fine Bros channel, and I ran to a video where it says kids react to K-pop, and I'm like, okay, Korean pop. I wasn't dumb. I was like, oh my god, what's K-pop? What's that? Like, I kind of put two together, J-pop, K-pop, cool. So I watched the video, and yeah, some of them kids were like extremely harsh. But I tried to give them the benefit of that because they're kids, and kids have zero fucking filter. But I just thought that the kids, and some of them kids over there was a little much. Definitely a little much. So after that, I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is, but it's piquing my interest. So I just remember after that typing in K-pop, because I didn't know where to start. I didn't know any group names, none of that shit. I said, let me just type in K-pop. So that's what I did. Sorry. So I remember typing in K-pop, and then I just seen like a compilation video from like the top songs from, or like their favorite songs from 2011. So we had Tiara Roly Poly, Girls' Generation The Boys, TVXQ's Keep Your Head Down, 2 PM's Hands Up, IU's Good Day, FX's Pinocchio, Big Bang's Tonight. Who the hell else was on there? I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. It's the fact that we actually remember this shit. It's like I can't find the actual videos. It's so long ago. It probably got deleted. So yeah, I can't think of the other songs that was on there. But yeah, it was just just a compilation video, and I was like, oh, okay, that's dope. And so I just kind of like just like wrote, like, even though that so like that few seconds kind of like, okay, something piqued my interest, I would write down the name of the group and the song. And so after that, I just started just randomly watching videos. Like, I didn't know who the fuck was who, what was what, and whatever I liked, I remember writing it down. So at the time, probably shouldn't have done that because, you kind of like legal and shit, but I used to, I think a lot of people did this, especially like international fans, because we didn't, like, especially back when I was in K-pop, like, how was we supposed to get this shit? So I spent a lot of time on YouTube. YouTube and Tumblr were like my main source of information for K-pop. And so I started following like a lot of like Tumblr pages and stuff like that. and I used to download what they call torrents, and they would just upload like entire discographies, so from groups, so like SHINee, 2PM, Big Bang, Girls' Generation, FX, etc, etc. So I would download the torrent, and it was like gigabytes worth of music, and I'm like, okay, cool. So I would kind of just listen to it and just figure out what I liked, and they had everything. I'm talking Japanese releases, Korean releases, songs from OSTs, songs from commercials, like you name it, they had it. And that's how I got my music. And that was before discovering buying K-pop albums. So that's how I used to do it back in the day. And I would just spend like just hours just listening to music and watching videos on YouTube. And so, like, for example, when I got into Big Bang, 2013, like January 2013. So I discovered them. It was because of the Glee. So I was really into Glee at the time, and they did Gangnam Style on the show. And I remember in the episode they played a clip of Big Bang's Fantastic Baby, and I was like, what the fuck is that? So like, I actually did they say Big Bang? I don't know if they said Big Bang on the show, but I remember like, I was like, hey, what is that? And so I googled Fantastic Baby, Big Bang popped up. I was like, okay. And that was pretty much a wrap after that. After I saw the Fantastic Baby video, I was sold. I was immediately sold. And I remember spending the entire month of January listening to I'm talking Korean releases, Japanese releases, solo shit, you name it, I heard it, all that shit. And that was when I would be watching YouTube videos. So I would spend like my whole day just on YouTube watching shit. I remember I followed a Tumblr page where they had like everything Big Bang, so like video wise. So any like Korean appearance, Japanese appearance, solo appearance, concert, I watched it. Because I had that's what I would normally do when I would get into a group. I would find the music first, listen to all the music, and then I would like try and find any like videos and kind of just get a better idea of who they are as people. And that's what I was doing. And then, you know, that's when I also discovered buying physical albums. And I was like, well, I want to buy a CD. How can I do that? Good old Google. And it led me to a website called K-Pop Heaven. And I'm like, okay. Now, mind you, I had no idea what the fuck I was walking myself into. But I'm kind of glad I did. So, K-Pop Heaven was a website where you can buy K-pop stuff. It was based out in Connecticut. So I'm like, they sell that stuff out here? What the fuck? Like, my mind was blown because I had no idea you can buy physical albums from other countries. Because most of the shit I would buy was in America. So I'm like, you know, I want to buy an album. Like, how can I do that? And that's when I discovered buying stuff internationally. So yeah, it was K-Pop Heaven. So like and that site had everybody, like every fucking body. And they had a bunch of stuff. So I'm sitting here like, I don't know where to start. Like, I'm like, and it was like, at the time, it was like, so the first K-pop album I bought was Big Bang's Still Alive special edition. And this is before I didn't know anything about member versions and multiple I went to this completely blind. I saw it. It was like 20 bucks. I said, fuck it. It's coming from, you know, Connecticut. It's going to be in a couple days. Cool. And I bought it. I remember it came in the mail, and I was so excited. And I was like, Ma, my K-pop album came in the mail. And so she was with me when I opened it, and I'm looking like, I was completely like taken aback because I've never seen no shit like that before. Like, it was in a box. If you don't know the album, it was in like in a small little box, and it had like a photo book, and it had like another photo book. It had a CD, and it came with the card, the YG family card, which again didn't know what the fuck it was. And it came with like 2 photo books. It was like a photo book for like with the members, but then it was like some other shit about like the evolution of like the logo for Big Bang. So like it had like the colors, and it was like some other shit I can't remember on top of my head because I don't have that one with me. But yeah, so I'm sitting there like completely enamored with this fucking album, and that's when I started collecting K-pop albums. And at that time, I knew nothing about how this game went. I just knew I found a website and I could buy what I wanted, and instead of waiting weeks, I had to wait days. So I'm like, fuck it. And that's kind of like when I started collecting albums, and then I discovered buying albums through Tumblr. So majority of my collection that's in storage I got from Tumblr. Real shit. Like, I honestly, like, yeah, was through Tumblr. And I used to, like, I was going through like my Tumblr page the other day, and I was looking through all like the likes, and like I've liked so many posts on like people selling K-pop albums. Like, well, it was a lot. But yeah, that's how I discovered buying K-pop albums. And then also 2013, so like I like to call 2013 my experimentative phase of K-pop, where like I'm learning a lot about the industry, where I learned about how shit works, because I didn't know anything. So I found out about, you know, the training process. I found about, like, you know, rookies and debuts and stuff like that. It was completely new to me, and comebacks and shit like that. And also 2013 was the first K-pop concert I went to, which was BAP's first tour. It was like Live on Earth tour. 2013, that was the first K-pop group I saw live, which was BAP, which is, if you don't know, one of my ultimate bias groups was BAP. So the fact that I got to see one of my ultimate bias groups for my first K-pop concert was like amazing in itself. And, you know, also later on that year I saw Infinite. That's like the last time they came to the was it the last time they came to the US? Yeah, it's like the last time they came to the US was like 2013. I don't think they came back since then. But yeah, so like, and that's when I discovered girl groups besides 21. And like the only girl groups I knew back then before like 2013 was 21, Tiara, FX, Girls' Generation. 2013 I discovered Miss A, For a Minute, Wonder Girls, yeah, like that's, I was discovering like a bunch of people. And then next thing I know, like I'm buying albums like crazy. So that's when I discovered, like I said, I was using K-pop Heaven. I discovered DVD Heaven, which is now K-Town For You. That's when you know you're an OG K-pop fan, when you remember K-Town For You used to be DVD Heaven. And I was like, this shit's $7. Like, I was like, are you fucking kidding me? Yeah, I bought like 2 VIX albums. It was like $7 a piece. I said, say less. So yeah, it's like DVD Heaven / K-Town For You, K-Pop Mart, Yes Asia. So those were the sites I used back then when I was buying K-pop albums. And then again, just discovering, you know, being more on social media, you know, using Twitter and stuff like that, and still being really on YouTube. So that's kind of like how I, you know, starting to get more into K-pop. And that's how I made, you know, friends through social media and stuff like that. And yeah, and just kind of just went on from there. And 2014 was when I started my YouTube channel. As you can see now, like end of 2014 was when I started my YouTube channel. And yeah, and it's just been, it's just been my journey. Like, you know, just thinking about everything that I've experienced as a K-pop fan the past 10 years. I remember experiencing my first someone leaving a group, and I was with Chris leaving EXO. So that was tough for me because I was like, huh, what? Like, I never experienced that. Well, I mean, it's not true because people have left groups before, but like in K-pop, I just didn't see it coming. So that was my first experience with someone leaving a group. My first experience is someone going to the military. It was probably Super Junior. Yeah, because I know like members was going like 2013, 2014. I mean, they had been going prior, but but I think like a bias group, someone in my bias group going to the military. I want to say, was it TVXQ? I want to say TVXQ because I think it's like the first. Yeah, I think it's TVXQ was the first like group. Yeah, definitely because Big Bang didn't go to like 2018. So yeah, like TVXQ was like the first K-pop group that I experienced going to the military was TVXQ. And then that's when I also experienced my first like scandals. And I think the first scandal that I experienced, if I'm thinking on top of my head, I'm not sure if it counts as a scandal, but it was like a little bit of drama with Junghyun when he wasn't in the video for Why So Serious because he got into his car accident at that time. So I remember it was like a bunch of drama with that, like, oh my god, it was a bunch of drama with that. But I think like my first scandal, if I'm correct, it had to have been the Sewol tragedy. That was like my first. It's not necessarily K-pop per se, but it involved K-pop to an extent because, you know, a lot of people was having comebacks around that time and stuff was like postponed and stuff like that. So that was kind of like my first scandal, or if you want to be technical, the Ladies Code incident. So if you want to be technical, okay, we can, K-pop related would be the Ladies Code incident. So but yeah, that's like my first like scandal, my first like tragedy and stuff like that. And so it was, yeah, like just going through, like thinking back about like all the shit that I experienced as a K-pop fan for the past 10 years. I've seen groups come, I've seen groups go, I've seen groups start from the bottom up, you know what I'm saying, become just, you know, start off as just these rookies and now they're like huge fucking superstars and stuff like that. So it's cool to think about it, you know what I'm saying, being in K-pop for so long. And not saying that like I'm trying to brag for people who haven't been in K-pop that long. I'm not doing it to brag, but I'm just saying, like, you know, you experience more, like the more you're into K-pop, especially like things were different back then as of now. Like now everything, you know, it's more accessible now, you know what I'm saying, buying albums. Now you got like streaming and YouTube and, you know, stuff like that. Back then it wasn't like that. It was more difficult to have accessibility for K-pop back then as it is now. So yeah, like, you know what I'm saying, like I said, not trying to brag or anything, but just going through my experience as a K-pop fan over the past 10 years. But you know, it feels good. It feels good. And you know, K-pop has definitely made me happy. Has definitely got me through some really tough times over these past few years. But yeah, like I said, I just wanted to come on here. It's a long ass video, but I just wanted to just kind of, you know, go back in time and talk about, you know, my life as a K-pop fan. You know, I was 23 when I got into K-pop. Now I'm turning 32. Whoa. Holy shit. Wow. So I'll be 33 with my 10-year anniversary. I'll be 33. So just, again, just think about like 10 years of like just going back and, you know, wow, it's been a ride. It's definitely been a ride. But yeah, I just wanted to come on here and tell you guys my story, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. So I'm gonna go, and I will see you guys next time. Bye guys.